Welcome back to the show, brother. Good to have you guys aboard. We're going to do the Wrestlemania 38 breakdown. You have the usual crew, Scott and Scott of Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. Of course, I'm Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winners.com. He's Scott Reichel, senior handicapper at winnersandwiners.com. We have a couple of other guys that you may or may not recognize. Of course, Chris King over there from Just Parlays. Chris, you got some wrestling parlays worked up for this show?
Sure, why not? And you introduced me wrong. I'm the host of this show, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, my bad. My bad. And that laughing is the inevitable White Dot, all the way from the great state of Maine. He's a Mainer. It's Dave the Dominator Hess. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? Looking forward to it. WrestleMania season.
Yep. Should be fun. 2-night event, Saturday night, Sunday night. Of course, it's available on the Peacock Network. Scott, I'll start with you. What match are you most excited about?
For me, if I had to pick which match, it's going to have to be the Roman Reigns one. I mean, that's going to be obviously the most anticipated one because you have another clash, which feels like, I don't know, the 40th time these guys have gone at it, but Roman Reigns might actually have a chance at winning this time. So if I had to pick one match, I feel like that's the one because I know the UFC has a unification fight when you have two champions that go at it. I don't know if it's the same term in WWE, but both of them have belts, so that's good enough for me.
Okay, very good. Glad we talked about keeping it short. Good job.
Thank you.
Chris, what are you most excited to see?
Well, I mean, obviously, we're not going to see any replications of Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage here from 1987, which is disappointing. You know, from a different perspective, I want to see how Pat McAfee does. We've seen him in the NFL as a punter. Now he's a commentator. He's definitely better than Michael Cole. But then again, I could find a whole bunch of things like paint drying that's better than Michael Cole as an announcer. He's going to take on Austin Theory, who is basically the latest flunky for Vince McMahon. I think that's going to be an interesting match. Of course, everybody I know, I'm sure Reichel is excited to see Johnny Knoxville take on Sami Zayn as well. Nothing like bringing in people that were relevant, a decade ago. I mean, why don't we just get Pete Rose back out here?
Why is Knoxville not against Logan Paul? That's the real question, Just have a celebrity free-for-all at some point.
I'm guessing because you need one person that knows what the hell they're doing in the ring.
No, that's the bit.
Both of you don't get hurt.
Instead of ruining two separate matches with amateurs, you just put them together and you form one just colossal failure in the middle of the card.
Terrific. I don't know how you're not on staff at WWE. Dave, bring some wrestling.
Probably because their writers have a lifespan of about 6 months.
They don't last long, and they don't pay well, and they don't last long. That's a grind gig. Dave, who's your the favorite that you want to see this weekend?
I'm looking forward to Edge versus AJ Styles. I think that's going to be a hell of a match. Edge now is after the last pay-per-view, he was a baby face, and now he's turned heel, and a heel Edge is pretty fun to watch. So,
all right.
The bad news is we all picked stuff from Sunday, which means we don't really like the first day too much.
Well, I mean, there's my favorite is actually from the first card and the first night, and that's going to be Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. I just want to see if Drew McIntyre gets the sword out. He keeps swinging that sword around like he's going to use it on somebody. You think Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was a big deal? Drew McIntyre cut somebody's head off. That's going to be news.
That's why he's minus 1,000.
It was actually stolen from him at the last. I believe Happy Corbin has it right now.
Happy Corbin has the sword
plus 500 with a sword. That's value to me.
I'll take swords for 1,000, Trebek.
When I think of swords, I just remember when Yukon John Nord was the Barbarian back in the 90s, and he brought a sword out and tried to stab the Undertaker and ended up going through the middle of the ring. Shortly after that, Nord was gone from the WWF at that point.
Welcome to
the thing with Happy Corbin. He needs a better name. Happy
unhappy.
Corbin. What kind of stupid
course
crap
he's
is that? Why don't we
happy.
just call him Bum?
He's got a sword. Of course he's happy. Why would
Michael
you not be
Dose
happy
is
with a sword?
It's
looking
not
at-
his sword. Why don't we just call him Thief Court? Why don't we just bring back Repo Man?
God, these guys, you know a lot about wrestling, Chris. I'm not sure if I knew that much about wrestling. I'd tell everybody that I knew that much about wrestling. That was the 90s must have been quite a decade for you, huh?
Well, the late 80s through the early 90s were probably the best time.
Attitude Era?
The Attitude Era?
Yeah.
No, the Attitude Era was the late 90s. This is back before the new generation and everything else, which was 93 to 96. But 87 to 93,
What kind of idiot thinks the Attitude Era? Jesus.
Obviously,
Speaking of which, by the
noobs.
way, with the Attitude, I'm happy you're going to see Steve Austin at some point.
The $1 Million Man? $6 Million Man?
Yeah,
Not
good
quite.
goal, Ted DiBiase, And don't forget, Ted DiBiase was actually well known back in the Mid-Atlantic, back in the 80s, when everything they had was blue. DiBiase's trunks were blue. The ring was blue. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was blue.
Who could forget?
There's a lot. But back then you had time to tell stories, and now everything is so condensed because there's a pay-per-view every 4 weeks that, there's no long-term continuity. And that's what I miss about professional wrestling. And I'm going to sound like the living legend Larry Zbyszko here and tell you that, back in the day when Dusty Rhodes was booking in Florida or down there in the South, if you couldn't book something 6 months out and figure out how the storyline was going to end, you didn't book it at all. Now you see these guys booking themselves in corners every other week because you have, like David said, you have guys that were a face last month, they're a heel now. It's like, make up your damn mind. That was the whole problem with Attitude. How many times did you see the Big Show flip when he was in WCW? It seemed like he flipped every month. It gets ridiculous.
Chris is like the Dennis Miller of wrestling. Just one fucking sub-reference that I don't get after another. And he just fucking layers it on right there. I lost you at Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm not gonna lie. Dave, I know you're a big wrestling fan. Have you been a wrestling fan long enough to know what the fuck Chris is talking about?
Most of it. I don't remember a whole lot of.
By the way, Michael Dose remembers DiBiase and Erwin R. Shyster. So
yeah, Erwin R. Shyster, Mike Rotundo.
I don't believe
before
that's the name you can get away with today, by the way.
No, probably not.
And Michael's looking forward to Ronda and Charlotte as well. Go ahead, Dave. Do you are you tuned in here? And then we're going to talk about these matches.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember a lot of the earlier wrestling. I followed it not as religiously as I do now, but I know a lot of the names that he was spouting out. So.
Okay, but that's the good part about it being on Peacock is you can go back and watch all that stuff. You can watch the Mid-Atlantic. You can watch, Mid-South with Bill Watts.
When Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant.
I have thought about going back and watching.
I mean, you can watch the old Saturday Night's main events where Hogan beat Paul Orndorff in a cage and Jesse Ventura spouted off the classic line, Orndorff would be champion right now if he was bold. Because Hogan pulled him by the hair back over the cage. You can watch all that stuff, and that's the great part about it. Like J.C. Stone said, I think he's talking about the one-man gang over there, who then they comically turned into Akeem from deepest, darkest Africa because a 450-pound white guy trying to dance in a daishiki was apparently a good storyline for Vince in the late 80s.
Oh, all right. Okay, so let's get rolling. We could sit
Steen has no idea what I'm talking about.
I know those names at least. I'm more tuned in than I was last time. Scott, when did they lose you?
Oh, they lost me when they started.
Okay, very good.
I was hanging in there.
But to go back to Erwin R. Shyster and Michael's point, he was Mike Rotundo, part of the U.S. Express with Barry Windham. They were at WrestleMania 1, lost to Volkov and the Iron Sheik. When here's a name for you, Scott, Classy Freddie Blassie, who like to call people pencil-necked geeks.
Yeah, Iron Sheik was the camel clutch guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I got something. Look at me.
And if you follow him on Twitter, he'll talk about fuck you and fuck this and fuck that and
Okay.
everything else, everything that with the Iron Sheik is, go fuck yourself.
Dave, tell us who's going to win this match. Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. As Scott alluded to, the odds are prohibitive backing Drew McIntyre at -1,000. Is there any value at all on Happy in a hat here?
Well, I was wrong at the last pay-per-view. I thought Corbin was going to lose because the odds were against him as far as both Corbin and Madcap Moss, being able to be in the match at the same time, but Corbin won. So this time, I think Corbin's going to lose. I think Corbin's going to lose. I just
okay.
I just have that feeling that he's gonna
lose that sword, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he might. No, I don't know. He might lose the sword. I found out too that the sword isn't really his. Actually, it's Vince McMahon's. So,
no, that's semantics. Doesn't matter.
Does the sword have a name?
Angela. It's named after his dead mother.
Excalibur.
It's not Excalibur. Maybe ex-wife, but Chris, any interest in getting Happy at +500?
No, I mean, I couldn't stand him when he was Baron Corbin. I don't like him. I like him even less now. Maybe he'll go back to being sad Corbin after this match when, like you said, Drew McIntyre takes the sword back. Then Scott won't be able to say that he's happy because he's got a sword. Or maybe he'll be depressed Corbin, emo Corbin. That'd be great.
Lose your sword.
Depressed Corbin.
The whole emo gimmick worked for Raven in ECW. Why not now?
Sure.
But no, I don't trust Corbin at all.
I'm going McIntyre. I'm not going to really spend much time on it.
I know what I'm going to fucking ask you.
I'm just saying, I'm going McIntyre. If you want to go for a long shot, I think there are better options on the card, but I think McIntyre rolls here, takes the sword back, and makes a whole thing out of it.
All right, Scott, I'm going to let you show off the research that you did, because the next match is actually one that's fairly, in fact, it's -120 on each side. Of course, that's a tag team match between the Mysterio boys, Dominic and Ray. Does Dominic also wear a luchador mask?
No, he doesn't.
I'm hoping he does.
He does not?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
That's a shame.
Against Logan Paul and Awesome, The Miz.
That was the extent of Steen's research. He learned what Miz's catchphrase was.
Hey now. I know these guys. I know like The Miz and some of the guys from like 5-6 years ago. I just haven't kept up on it. It's like watching a serial though. If you miss days of our lives for 5 years, you tune it on, but 2 days you'll be caught up completely. That's the way I feel about wrestling. So normally Scott, no, this is Scott. Scott, go ahead. What you got here?
For me, I'm not a fan of the Paul brothers, but I'm actually going with Logan Paul and The Miz. Just for confirmation, by the way, The Miz lost to Rey Mysterio in the Saudi Arabia card, correct?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, anybody?
Yeah, nobody likes The Miz.
It seems pretty interesting that they just fought each other about a month and change ago, and now they're having a rematch with a tag team in it. And Logan Paul, we know that WWE will bring in celebrities. Kind of mixed results. It's not a guaranteed win when a celebrity shows up. But I do find the booking a little bit surprising because Mysterio kind of settled the beef already because he won, and now they're running it back. So I'm actually going to go with The Miz and Logan Paul because I feel like it's kind of set up for The Miz to tie it up at one apiece.
All right, Dave, what do you got here?
I agree. And a lot of times, actually, you will see the celebrities pull out the victory when they play, or make an appearance in WrestleMania. Last year, and I wish he was in it this year, but Bad Bunny, he just stole the show. And he won his tag team match with Damian Priest. And that was over The Miz and Morrison. So, but this year, I think The Miz is going to get revenge not revenge against the Mysterios, but revenge for losing last year at WrestleMania. And I'm also possibly expecting to see either it's this pay-per-view or coming soon, but I'm expecting to see the Mysterios sort of, one of them's going to turn on the other, so I see that one coming.
Is that brothers or it's father son, right?
Father son, yeah.
That's what
And
I
that
thought.
would set up a match for them probably at SummerSlam or something.
Okay, all right, very good. And Chris, what do you think here?
Well, I was going to say the same that David said. I'm waiting for Dominic Mysterio to turn. I mean, we've seen him have heel flashes before. And like Scott pointed out, celebrities tend to win at WrestleMania. You remember, well, you probably don't because Reichel was negative whatever at that point. At WrestleMania 1, you had Mr. T team up with Hogan to beat Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper in a match. And then at WrestleMania 11, when Reichel was probably still negative, years old, you had Lawrence Taylor beat Bam Bam Bigelow. It was the main event of what was probably one of the most panned WrestleManias of all time. But in this case, I think the same thing's going to happen. You're going to see Logan Paul and The Miz come up with a win. Whether it brings more eyeballs to the thing or if this is a one-off like we saw with Floyd Mayweather and The Big Show remains to be seen. But eventually you're going to see the Mysterios have that falling out, and this might be the start of it if we don't get a full-blown turn here at all.
All right, very good. Knowing almost nothing about this one, I'm gonna have to go with the celebrity. I think in most cases these guys don't show up to lose. I think that's just the theory I'm going to operate under. How about the little Raw tag team? No, the wrestling kind. It's RK Bro versus the Street Profits taking on Alpha Academy. RK Bro, they're the champions. They are minus 150. Street Profits plus 150. I'm going to take a little spin on the Alpha Academy. Hey, who could blame you at plus 400? So where are we at? Dave,
I'm biased.
What do you got?
I was going to say, I'm just biased quickly because I like Randy Orton. That's all I have to add to this conversation.
All right, fair enough.
There you go.
Yeah, I think RK Bro is going to retain. The Street Profits are another possible heel turn coming soon. But I don't think that they're ready to take the titles away from RK Bro, who just recently won it again. So I'm looking at RK Bro retaining. I can't see the Alpha Academy getting it back at all. So that definitely wouldn't take a shot with them. But if anyone has the chance, it is the Street Profits to upset them. But I just think that RK Bro is going to continue to hold the title.
Chris, you on RK Bro here as well?
No, I'm actually going to lean towards the Street Profits. The great thing about Randy Orton is you can't trust him for very long, and it's only going to be a matter of time before he turns on Matt Riddle, who looks like he weighs about 58 pounds soaking wet. The Street Profits are a talented team. I like Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. I just think that this is a chance for them to make an impact and make a name for themselves, much like we saw Orton and Riddle do last year. I think it's a chance for them to put themselves back on the map a bit because they've kind of fallen back off the radar because of this whole thing with Orton and Riddle. I think it's a good chance for them to make a name for themselves.
Well, I'm with Dave there on the heel turn. I think with that on the horizon, I'm going to tend to lean to RK Bro. I'm not sure I want to lay 150. That seems pretty pricey in a three-way match, but I'm with Dave in this one. I'll hold my nose and lay the wood there. How about a little Scott? You like to Orton there?
I'm just biased solely based on the fact that I like Orton, and of course, as champions, they've done pretty well so far. I'll stick with
that. How about a little Raw women's? By the way, that's the way I like mine. Championship match winner. It's one of those situations where the champion, Becky Lynch, is a pretty massive underdog here. Plus 300, Bianca Belair. Minus 500. Chris, what the hell's going on here with these chicks?
Well, I think everybody wants to see Bianca Belair avenge the loss she took at, SummerSlam when she lost in 27 seconds or something like that.
Embarrassing.
Well, this is another thing you probably don't know, Rachel, because this happened in 1988. They had a match like that with my father-in-law's favorite wrestler, the Honky Tonk Man, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. David, you remember this, I'm sure, when he fought. He was supposed to fight Brutus Beefcake, who got his head carved up with spurs from Outlaw Ron Bass. So the Honky Tonk Man wisely, got a microphone and said, "I don't care who I fight, just send somebody out here." And he got his ass kicked in 30 seconds by a guy known as the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
These things do happen, unfortunately. I'm actually going to lean towards Becky Lynch. I just think that, she's being undervalued here. And, there's been such a hostility here. They're going to try to bleed this out a little bit longer. But I just think Lynch is the better wrestler at this point in time.
Good. All right. Becky Lynch taking the underdog there and the champion. Dave, are you on the Becky Lynch Express?
No, actually, I'm going with Bianca, and it's not a favoritism thing because I really don't like Becky Lynch right now, but I just think Bianca's on a roll. She has revenge in her mind from SummerSlam, and I mean, anytime you get beat in 26 seconds, you kind of want to come out and get a little revenge.
I usually say that for my basketball games where I've got the under, and I'm usually beaten 26 seconds. I do know this, and if somebody loses the first one and then they win the second one, that sets up what do you call a rematch and a
rubber match,
little rubber match of the series. I think that's a great storyline. Again, at minus 500, not something I really want to get involved with too heavily, but I do believe it fits the storyline there. So I'm going to fade Chris in this one and take the favorite. Scott?
I'm going to back Chris on this one. I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. Okay. At the end of the day, you can make an argument that it's a great setup spot for a potential trilogy fight, but I do think that there's a good chance that Bianca loses, but it's just significantly more competitive than the first one. And you can make an argument that even though Lynch has been the title holder for a decent amount of time at this point, the WWE really struggles when it comes to shifting the power over to new wrestlers. It seems like the same people hold the belt for way too long. It wouldn't surprise me if Becky Lynch ends up struggling and it seems like Bianca's going to win, and then suddenly Becky Lynch pulls something out and wins. But when it comes to taking long shots, I do think the plus 300 here is significantly more appealing than the plus 300 and 400s in other spots. For value alone, I'll take the really long tenured champion to find a way to win a very close match. I'll take Becky Lynch.
And Scott brings up a valid point there too, is that they do tend to book people for so long at the top of the food chain. That's been the problem with so many companies over the years, is they overstay the people, because with so much TV now, those guys get saturated and you get burned out on them. But they're so afraid to try and push somebody else that then they wonder why their ratings go down.
All right, fair enough. That's all legitimate point. All right, next on the card, we've got the Usos. They're currently the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They are going up against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Usos are the champs, laying minus 220 right here. Plus 155 if you wanted to take the underdogs. I'm on the Usos right here. I think this is something that has to continue to feed all the storylines involved. I don't see the Usos taking the L at WrestleMania. I'll lay the 220. Chris? Chris?
Yes. I'm actually thinking this one's going to end up. The Usos might retain, but they'll retain by DQ, because inevitably they'll do something stupid just to keep the belts. I think eventually they're going to lose them. They just won't lose them here. But I'll take Boogs and Nakamura to win by DQ or something like that. They won't win the titles, but they'll win the match.
Interesting. All right. Very good.
I wish I had odds on that. A winning match, but DQ. I'm curious if there's a method of victory. Of course, there's no method of victory prop available, but that's intriguing.
There's no method of victory?
No.
No.
I would really love the potential loophole bet of they're going to win the match, but not the belts. That's a hell of a loophole bet right there.
It used to happen all. That's the honky talk, man. He'd get counted out all the time, or he'd use his guitar and waffle somebody, so he'd lose the match. But and Gorilla Monsoon would say he's going home with the loser's end of the purse, which of course wasn't the case. But he left with the belt.
Can we play a husband and wife parlay with Bianca Belair and the Street Profits?
Sure, why not?
With Montez Ford being her husband. We do that.
You could.
All right. Okay. Cool. Dave, what do you got here?
It's a parlay. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Okay, that's right. Well, you're the parlay. You're the king of parlay. So that's what I'm asking you.
I'm going with the Usos. And I'll get into it a little bit. Well, not into this, but I kind of, giving a spoiler away, I'm kind of expecting Brock to lose or to win over Roman. So,
break the string, huh?
I can't see both the Usos and Roman losing the belts in the same night. So one of them's got to win. I can't see both of them retaining either. So if any one of them is going to win, it's going to be the Usos.
Dave predicts a bad night for the Polynesians. So there you go. We still say that? Is that cool?
You just said it. So
I honestly don't. I'm honestly, I'm not being a dick. I honestly don't know.
We'll fix it in post.
Huh? We'll fix it in
post.
Fix
it in post.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, you're pretty much seeing post right here. Believe it or not, I don't go through and edit our hour-long I just let it play. Because we're all pros. So there's really not much to edit out.
We'll do it live.
I can do it live. How about a little Ronda Rousey? Charlotte Flair, again, the champion. Huge underdog, plus 425. Ronda Rousey, what's her nickname, Dave? Ronda who? Does she have a nickname?
Baddest woman on the planet.
That's right. The baddest woman on the
planet.
A
long-ass nickname. That's longer than her actual name.
Minus 800. Quick reminder here, guys. We got about 20 minutes to do, 17 more matches. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go quick. I think Ronda kills her.
I'm not getting in the way of minus 800. Chris?
I'm going to go with Rousey. I just think that, there's one person that doesn't need the belt. It's Flair.
Yeah. Is there anyone that doesn't hate Charlotte Flair, by the way, Dave?
Not really. I mean, she's hated by a lot of people. And okay. I'm going with Ronda also.
All right, very good. Women's Tag Team Championship. Naomi, you know what? Dave, tell me who you like. I'm not going to read them all.
This one, I know who I'm rooting for, and actually who I'm rooting for is who I expect to win. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. I think they've been pushing
plus 185, by the way.
Yeah, they've been pushing Liv and Rhea, or they've been pushing Liv for a while, and Rhea, she just needs a belt. I mean, and I think that they're gonna take it. I cannot see Carmella and Zelina retaining. They're having some issues within, each other. Carmella also has a new TV show, so now's a good time to take the belt off her.
Okay,
so
I agree.
That's plus 500. You got Liv Morgan at plus 185 also, Scott.
I think 185 is a great deal.
Okay, Naomi and Sasha Banks. Chris, are those one of those girls? One of the Funkadactyls.
Who's that now? Naomi was, I think.
Yeah,
Naomi
was a Funkadactyl, right?
Yeah. And Baszler came over from the UFC with, Rousey and Marina Shafira or something like that. I can't remember the exact name. They were all part of the 4 horsewomen of UFC or whatever they basically call themselves. But I'm going to agree with David. I think that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley are due here. I just, let's face it, the tag team division isn't anything that is overwhelming as far as talent goes. None of these teams have any continuity.
You guys like the fact that they've broken it into 2 separate things with Raw and SmackDown? That they have
I don't like that either. I'm not a big fan of having everybody there's too many belts. They don't have enough people to fill out these belts. It's not like
that's because Vince keeps firing everybody.
Well, that's true too. But I mean, if you remember, and like I said, not to go back to the halcyon days of yore, but you used to have a lot of good teams and a lot of good individuals chasing down one set of belts. Now you've got like 85 belts. It's basically the participation trophy of professional wrestling. You get a belt. It's like watching Oprah. You get a belt, and you get a belt, and Rachel gets a belt. Everybody gets a friggin' belt. I mean, what's going to be next? The paper cup belt? The red Solo cup belt?
By the way, everybody,
The urinal belt?
if you're even thinking about getting on Chris King's lawn, don't fucking do it. He will kick you right off. Get off his lawn. I'm just telling you in advance. Okay. Right. Very good. So we're kind of a clean sweep there, right? Everybody here likes Liv and Rhea. Michael says Liv should be on TV more. Just saying. Ain't nobody's gonna argue with you there, brother.
Well, Alexa Bliss needs to be on TV, period. But they're not doing anything with her either.
All right, Chris, let's play the way back game. Seth Rollins is going up against the mystery opponent. Is he going to come out dressed like Frank Gorshin? Huh?
Oh,
you
so
like
he's
that?
Gonna be the Riddler, huh?
There you go. There you go.
I thought you were going to go with Cesar Romero.
No, he's wearing the skin tight green outfit with the question marks on it.
Yeah, the scary thing is that people are saying it could be Shane McMahon, which would be just funny considering they got rid of him after the Royal Rumble.
I heard Rhodes being the favorite to be the mystery.
You heard it from me. Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. I said I heard it. I didn't say from where.
CM Punk would be great. Oh, that would be cool. I agree. Dave, who you got here?
The one that I've heard is Cody Rhodes.
There you go.
That's what I just said.
Yep. Shut up. I hate you so much. I got to spend an extra 5 hours with this fucker this week. God damn. Okay. Anyway,
I've heard it.
That's also what I've read in my intensive 90 minutes of research that I did. That was the name that I kept seeing pop up. So
I know he
I like your idea better. I like Michael's idea better, but it's probably going to be Cody Rhodes. Love to see CM Punk.
Yeah, but will he be Cody Rhodes or will he be Stardust?
He's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Can we just acknowledge that
Stardust?
We acknowledge the mystery opponent's minus 450, so I feel obligated to assume he's going to win.
I think
They didn't even say who it was. It's minus 450. I mean, what the hell is this?
They hate Seth Rollins.
Of course.
They really do.
I'm going to take the mystery opponent.
A few years ago,
we're going to announce the guy.
All right, guys. I'm going to break it here first. Mystery appointment is me. I'll be leaving right after the show.
Then I'm picking you at minus 450.
Yeah, so good call. Dave, go ahead. Sorry to rudely interrupt you for that terrible.
That's okay. A few years ago, WWE had a group called the Fashion Police, and I always think of them every time Seth Rollins comes out the way he's dressed.
Do you just walk around with your hair wet like that all the time? Like him and Roman Reigns both have the whole wet hair thing. I don't get that. I don't get it at all.
It's like they're in their contract to dunk their head in a sink before they come out.
I think that's right. It's like the communion bowl as you walk in. What am I talking? What's the thing? Anybody Catholic here, Scott?
Yeah, the communion isn't that the
no, it's not the communion bowl.
Baptism.
It's the holy water bowl. It's where they do the baptism, but yeah, it's the holy water bowl. Man, I went a long way for this joke to just fucking fall in his face.
It's a bad joke.
That's what he used. Yeah, it's just. Man, that was a long, dusty road it was just a dead end there. So anyway, let's keep it moving as the guy that's telling us how much time we got left. Okay. Sheamus and Ridge Holland against not the old day, but the new day. This could be kind of interesting. Sheamus and Ridge minus 200 to the new day plus 150. Guys, I think it's time for an underdog here. I've got the new day right here. I think that this is my underdog pick of the night. What do you guys think?
I don't hate it.
Man, that does not tell me what the confidence of either one of the other.
I was going to take the New Day anyway. There's still a lot of animosity after, even though it was an accident that with Big E breaking his neck legitimately on a Ridge Holland suplex.
Yeah.
I think that the New Day will avenge it. Sheamus tends to disappoint at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think they win. I think they win one for Big E. I keep wanting to call him Easy E.
I think it should be. I think it should be a pick 'em. So the fact that you're getting plus money, I think, is definitely a value play.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from a value standpoint. I agree. I think that's just a little too good of a price. David, stop by and tell us why we're all idiots.
No, I agree. I like the revenge factor also. I mean, Biggie broke his neck, so I can't see the New Day losing this one because
Okay.
that would just
Very
really
good.
pour salt in the wound.
All right. Well, that almost takes us to the end of day one.
Do we want to just jump around to day 2 at this point?
Now you're gonna be like
Jump
Tony
around.
Schiavone on Nitro, be like, "We're out of time."
I mean, like, do we really need to talk about the Steve Austin one when it's?
I think we
minus
should.
800?
Who you got there, guys?
I think
Real
Austin's going to do it first.
Thank
so
you.
minus 800.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
do too.
All right. Very good.
And that
Chris?
is the main event of night 1, actually.
All right.
Yeah,
Very
I mean, do we really think that Austin's going to show up and get beat up or anything like that? I mean,
No, he's going to have
let's
1
be honest.
beers, 2 beers, 3 beers. Yeah, he'll take care of business.
He's 100. He's 100. So
maybe he'll do the what a burger routine again.
I want
the
to bring
one-
back the what bit.
here's the one I really want to get your opinion on. I know we don't have a ton of time to spend on it. It's Osmos and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley plus 130. Am I crazy to like the dog here?
I do.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't.
I mean,
It's,
It
I don't
seems a
think-
little trappy because Lashley's the champion. He's had a belt for a while, but I mean, he's had the belt for a reason. It's because he's pretty good.
he's not
So
the champ-
yeah,
he's-
I'm gonna
he's
go with
not the
Lashley.
champ anymore.
I'm not sure.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
not
he-
the champ anymore.
No,
Sorry, my bad.
No,
he lost.
He lost it.
He
at
lost
the
the belt
Elimination Chamber.
because he was injured
My bad.
during
Fucking idiots.
Elimination
on this
Chamber.
show. Jesus.
Yeah, my bad. Either way, I still like
I
Lashley.
didn't even know he
in
won the belt.
comparison.
So congratulations.
I'll
Yeah,
take
he had a
Lashley.
legitimate injury, and that's why Lesnar ended up winning the belt and everything.
Yeah,
else.
so he had a legitimate injury. Now he's healthy again. It's a good spot for him to do well at WrestleMania.
Blast from the past. AJ Styles against Edge. Doing double duty, playing guitar for U2, of course. Chris, who do you like?
I like Edge. I mean, let's
Hey,
face
thank
it.
you.
The great part about AJ Styles is, he's the phenomenal Alan Jones is his real name, and he hasn't been all that phenomenal lately. I'm going to go with Edge. He's been a good comeback story after that neck surgery and everything else that had forced him to retire before.
Dave.
I'm going with Edge too.
All right,
Yeah, I'm
Dave.
going with Edge also. His
Edge.
new attitude, his heel attitude, it makes him more dangerous. I like Edge.
Little plus 150. Celebrity Pat McAfee. Is he going to lose at minus 180 to Austin Theory? No, he is not. I like Pat McAfee in that spot.
I'm gonna pick him to win.
Yep.
He's fun.
All right.
I'll go with
I
Edge.
love Friday Night SmackDown because of Pat McAfee because he is just so much fun.
His signature move better be like a field goal kick or something. Like, can he fake punt the guy in the head? Like, can you do that as a signature move?
My dream match would be him versus Corey Graves, and the winner gets to
Okay.
go to Monday Night Raw because I'd rather have three hours of McAfee than 3 hours of Graves.
Fair
I'm
enough.
going with
Fair
McAfee.
enough.
I'm assuming the crowd's going to be all over McAfee, so I'm assuming he's going to win.
You would think so. Johnny Knoxville, by the way, who has more pain when they wake up in the morning, Pat McAfee or Johnny Knoxville?
Steve-O.
Chris, what do you
Yeah.
think? Who's in worse shape?
Probably
Pat
Knoxville.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I'm
Pat
still
McAfee.
going off the
Anything-
board. I'm going Steve-O.
Yeah.
It's an anything goes match, so that means that they're going to bring out a lot of.
Oh, he's
pain
bringing
in
out the
that
staple
match.
gun. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's going to be some crazy shit. Johnny Knoxville, I think he prevails here too. He's minus 300 against Sami Zayn.
I like him to win too. So
You just said crazy shit, so he has a massive home court advantage.
You're going to shoot bottle rockets out of his ass after he beats him.
He'll break out the fireworks and shoot it at the opponent. I'm going to go with Knoxville.
All right, so we've left ourselves a little bit of time to talk about the main event. I guess this is really the main event of the entire weekend. It happens to be the main event on Sunday night, and it's going to be the champion Roman Reigns against the champion Brock Lesnar. Now, somebody want to break down who's the champion of what and what's going to happen? Chris, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, Lesnar's the Raw champion right now. Or I guess it's the Universal belt because that God knows we have to have different names for the belts.
Okay,
Reigns has been the SmackDown champ for since 1972 or something like that at this point, which is strange considering the way that they tend to hotshot belts around. as much as everybody likes Roman Reigns and the way he's done things, I just think that, this could be a chance where Lesnar, since he's back in the fold for the time being, to come up with an upset. Maybe there'll be interference or something like that. Of course, Paul Heyman, you never know what he's going to do from time to time.
Who does he support now? I thought didn't he have a falling out with both parties?
Yeah, that's the great part about being a heel is you can just flip flop and do whatever the hell
That's
you
the
want.
point. I don't know whose side Heyman is even on at this point.
He's with Roman right now, but
He is technically okay.
Yeah,
but
technically,
I wouldn't be surprised if he's flipped on this one.
Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the least either. I mean, the best part about storylines is the best ones are usually the old ones that they've already used, and they did this in the 90s when Savage fought the Ultimate Warrior for the belt, and Flair supposedly came out and was going to sell his services to whoever, him and Mr. Perfect, and then the match ended up as a count out, and then Flair ended up taking the belt from Savage like a week later. I just think Lesnar's going to win here. I think that you're going to see Heyman turn on Lesnar. And especially if the Usos retain the belts, like David said, you're not going to see them both retain, and you won't see them both lose their titles. So,
David, very good. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so I think that's what's going to be what we see happen.
All right, very good. David, August 30th, 2020. What happened on that day?
Roman won the belt.
That's exactly right. So now it's over 800 days, and you think it's over, don't you?
No, 600 days. It's 600 days. He just passed 600 recently.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Gee, idiots! Look at these people. Can't even read a calendar.
Well, I wasn't even doing that. I was looking at somebody said that it had just gone past the 800-day mark, but I think that's another streak.
Oh, so you trusted people on the internet.
I should have read further. It's without being pinned. So
it's been a long time. Whatever.
Thanks. So is it over? Is it over Sunday night, buddy?
I believe so. Brock is just he's on a warpath. He's been, in the last couple of weeks, he's destroyed like 3 vehicles. And well, he has. He
I know.
Forklift through one. He's hammered another.
Now, Michael Dose would be a good writer. Michael Dose is maybe the Undertaker does something to Lesnar since he beat him at WrestleMania. Now that'd be a fucking story right there.
Yeah, that could be.
By the way, any chance the mystery wrestler is the Undertaker?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, the Undertaker's being inducted, and he's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and Vince McMahon, I think, is going to be the one to induct him. So
he'll have a Flair moment. He'll have a retirement speech.
Yeah, not like inducting him with a bunch of scrubs, because who wants to see Sharmell in the WWE Hall of Fame? That's even worse than Coco Beware.
All right, so Dave,
I do expect Brock to win this one. I think he's on a roll. So
why? Other than the destroyed vehicles, how come?
It's time. It's time for Roman to lose the belt. He's had it for such a long time. He's already passed everybody except I believe 4 people. Which includes Bob Backlund, who is one of my.
And he's never going to get to San Martino like levels.
No, he's not going to get to that level. I mean, he keeps saying he's in God mode. Well, someone's going to shut him up, and that's going to be Brock.
Okay. All right. Very good.
I think he's better. He's better in a chase position than he is holding the belt.
Yeah. I also got to say, I like Brock as a baby face because, I don't know, he just seems to be a little bit more fun.
Just to ask, has Roman Reigns ever actually beaten Lesnar at anything? I feel like he's 0-90. Has he ever beaten Lesnar?
Beer pong once.
I was going to say, I don't think he's actually won a match against Lesnar before. I think Reigns is going to win. I'm going to disagree. I feel like it's the spot where they've been building him up for so damn long that it's finally time for him to beat Lesnar. I get that Lesnar, is one of the main guys too. I get it, but I don't know how you're supposed to build this guy up to be the new unbeatable wrestler for this long just to have him lose to Lesnar again. It seems like a massive waste of time if that's what happens. I'm going to give it to Reigns. I think he finally gets it done.
By the way, for our wagering friends, Roman Reigns is minus 350, Brock Lesnar plus 225. So, yeah.
And here's another thought. Can you see Raw not having a champion? Because if Reigns wins, Raw is the bigger show.
Well, is
Right.
Lesnar a full-time guy again, or is he still kind of part-time?
Okay, because that was always the great deal when they'd sign these, $4 million contracts and they'd have to appear 6 times or something throughout the year.
Well, it was like Rodman back in the 90s. He appeared like 3 times, got paid $2 billion in WCW. And a couple times
You mean during the NBA Finals when he had his
appearance?
Yeah. Then they had the match at Bash on the Beach against Karl Malone and Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. There you
go.
There
was one match when he came, all he did was sit on the ropes, lean on the ropes with his sunglasses on like he was sleeping.
Scott, who do you got? I'm going with Reigns. I know Chris and David both like Lesnar. Who do you got?
As much as I respect your knowledge in all things sports, Scott, in this one, I think I got to tip my hat to the guys that know what they're doing. Plus 225.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I just think it's time to finally exercise the demons. In my
when has Lesnar ever been a dog like that? So
I agree.
I think he's a dog for a reason. That's my point.
Well, I mean,
you're exactly right. When has he ever been a dog like this? That's kind of my point.
That's how they get you. All right, one final thought. Who's going to be watching? Scott, you going to be watching?
Absolutely not.
All right, Chris?
I'll probably catch part of it. I don't know if I'll catch the whole show over 2 days. I mean, that's why it's streaming. You can watch whatever you want.
Yep. Dave?
I'll be watching, definitely. And in fact, I'll start it at noon on Saturday because NXT is having their pay-per-view Stand and Deliver at that point.
Of course he's watching. He's got Peacock. He's got the whole thing for $10.
There you go.
And I also have to say that I believe that the reason why you won't see as many great matches on Saturday is because of the Final Four.
Yeah, I agree.
Michael Doe says, thanks,
better
Jen,
card.
great show. Chris, you're amazing too. I think that's a compliment, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. You guys, your knowledge. Chris, you ever smoke pot?
Say again?
You ever get high? You ever smoke weed?
I still can't hear you breaking up on my end.
Oh, okay. Dave, you ever smoke pot?
No.
All right. See the memory on these two? The memory on these. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Chris has lived a pretty clean life. It's the memory, the shit that it's there you go. Or you could had a little more fun in your youth, perhaps, and you end up like me going, I'm sorry, there's wrestling. Is it this weekend? So anyway, you guys have been fantastic. Thanks very much for stopping by. Thanks for watching the show. It'll be fun. I'll be checking out a little bit of it. I probably won't be quite as intent as Dave, but I will definitely be texting with Dave and talking to him during the match. You guys have a great day. As always, thanks to all my guests here today, Chris, Scott, of course, and Dave the Dominator, all with a hell of a lot of wrestling knowledge. So, all right, you guys have fun watching wrestling. Good luck on all your plays this weekend. Don't forget to stop by and check out Scott and I. Tomorrow, we're going to have Allie Burns on the show. Friday, that is, depending on when you listen to this. So this is Thursday when we're recording. If it hasn't been Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern yet, check us out as we do each and every day, Monday through Friday. Scott and I will do our very best to help you in your journey to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.